Good morning everyone and welcome to this week's sports podcast. It's Friday the 24th of June 2022. I hope you're all well. Weather's been good this week and hopefully it'll stay that way for a little bit longer, although the forecast looks like there may be some rain around the next few days, but let's hope not, and let's hope it doesn't affect this week's cricket. And that's where we're going to start this week. We're going to start this week's podcast with the look back at last weekend's matches in the Halifax Cricket League and a look ahead to tomorrow's fixtures. So last weekend we saw some good games. We'll start with a game between Whalley and Bradshaw, a game which Bradshaw won by 2 wickets. Whalley batted first. They scored 260 for 4, which is a really good total to be fair. Fahim Katana 98 not out and Connor Mitchell 90 not out were the two main contributors for Whalley there. Good innings by both of them, but it wasn't enough. Bradshaw were inspired last Saturday and they scored the total of 264 for 8. Thanks mainly to Johnny Lister's 107, great century by Johnny there. Again, Connor Mitchell starred with the ball for Whalley. He took 5 for 90, I think it was. I got my notes there. So good performance all around from Connor, but not enough to stop Bradshaw winning. And they've had a really good season so far. Bradshaw doing well. Also, another good result for Sowerby Bridge. They beat defending champions Mythe by 3 wickets. Mythe batted first. They scored 235 for 9 in their innings, thanks mainly to Luke Sutcliffe's 73. Jake Dixon and John Brown both taking 3 wickets apiece for Sowerby Bridge to keep them in the hunt. And Sowerby Bridge managed to lock off a total 239 for 7 they got. And that was Josh Wood was the main man when it came to batting for Sowerby Bridge. He scored 62. So another good result for Sowerby Bridge. Their season's improving. Bradshaw's season's been pretty good overall. So that's a good start for both teams really. Moving to look at the other games now. And as you can see, Mr. Mato's head is joining in now. So. Great Horton Park Chapel were defeated by SBCI. SBCI won by 10 wickets, the highest opening partnership of the season so far, 187 for 0. Great Horton Park Chapel scored 185 for 8, batting first. Captain Adam Beasley being top scorer with 63 and Marshall Grieve 50. Those two guys have been at the heart of most of the batting efforts so far this season for Great Horton Park Chapel. And Alex Schofield and Ollie Benson both took 3 wickets each. SBCI, like I said, a record partnership so far this season, opening partnership 187 unbeaten, 10 wicket victory. Alex Schofield again, 109 not out there, partnered by Adam Fawcett, he was 66 unbeaten, so a comfortable victory there for SBCI. Booth and Illingworth won by 7 wickets. Booth batted first, they were 114 all out. Laycock scoring 35, Matty Smith starting with the ball again for Illingworth, 4 for 39. And then we knocked it off, 115 for 3. Illingworth managed to score Callum Cook 58 and Matty Smith again 42 not out, so comfortable win there for Illingworth St Mary's. Copley scored 215 for 5 batting first and they beat Ludden and Foote 188 all out in their chase. For Copley, Alex Rowles scored 87 not out. I think Matt Rowles also, I haven't written it down this, but Matt Rowles also contributed around 40 as well, so they're good. Both Rowles did well there. And for Ludfoot, 188 all out. James Yates was the man who put the biggest contribution with the bat. He scored 49, but Ian Hartley did some damage with 4 for 23, and Inshal Dar took 3 for 31. So they were the 2 men who managed to put Ludfoot to the sword and see Copley over the line. And the final game from last weekend, Thornton beat Triangle by 66 runs. Thornton batted first, they scored 230 for 8. Nicky Hutchinson, it's been Josh who's been doing the most of the damage with the bat this season, but Nicky scored 94 in this game. First nice welcome return to form for him. Curtis Whippy took 3 wickets for Triangle. And then Triangle in their attempt to reach that total started really well. They had an opening partnership from Steve Senior who scored 54 and Nath Madden 43. They managed to put on 86 for that opening partnership, but once they were out, they lost all 10 wickets for just a further 78 runs. And a lot of that thanks goes to Josh Hutchinson, 4 for 29. So again, ball is at the bat this time for Josh. And Om Bahira, he took 5 for 24. So he was the main man with the ball. So fairly comfortable victory there in the end for Thornton. So moving ahead to look at this weekend's fixtures now in Halifax Cricket League in the Premier Division. And we've got Booth against Ludden and Foote. We've got Copley against Bradshaw. Sowerby Bridge at home to Great Horton Park Chapel. SBCI at home to Thornton. Triangle at home to Illingworth. And we've got Whalley at home to Mythe. So, yeah, we've got quite a good weekend's action coming up. And hopefully, Like I say, there's forecast for some rain over the next few days, but hopefully it won't be too serious, so it'll affect tomorrow's matches. In terms of the league table, Copley are currently at the top with 95 points. Bradshaw are second with 80, and Illingworth are third. 81, and Illingworth third on 80. And Sowerby Bridge are up there with Thornton now. They're both on 79, so it's really tight at the top after a little bit of a gap after Copley to the next 4 or 5 teams. Those 4 teams actually, yeah. At the bottom, Great Orton Park Chapel are struggling a little bit with 36 points from 9 games so far, and defending champions are in the other drop spot at the moment. Mythenroyd, they're at 51, but they are only at 1 point behind Triangle, and that's not too bad, I suppose. So there we go. So let's see what happens this weekend. Okay, moving on from Halifax Cricket League now, we're going to talk about England, and I've actually got it on the background. I believe England have just taken a wicket whilst I'm talking to you now, so let me just have a look. I think it's been reviewed possibly, but we'll come back to that in a moment. But yeah, after day 1 of the 3rd test between England and New Zealand, New Zealand were 225 for 5. They've obviously got the issue again of trying to get rid of Blundell and Mitchell. With Mayo, we've just got rid of one of them. In fact, he's walking off. Tom Blundell is out for 55, and I think the 248 for 6 in New Zealand at the moment, so that's a good start for England this morning. Yep, so the series is obviously already over, but obviously England would like to win 3-0, I'm guessing. Ben Stokes wasn't able to bowl yesterday, whether that's an injury or not. He hasn't. I don't think it's come out whether he's injured or not, and he's not able to bowl, but it's looking that way. Jack Leach had quite a good day, I've got to say, yesterday, and it looked like a very good day of Test cricket. Don't forget that England also have a one-off test next week against India. It's actually the 5th test from last year's series, which was called off because of COVID. Well, that was the official reason given. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be another tough test for England, and see how the new style of cricket under Ben McCullum pans out against India. In terms of Yorkshire, they had a victory last night against Worcestershire in the T20. Tom Kohler-Cadmore was the main man. Ironic it was him because he's announced this week he will be leaving at the end of the season. He's going to play for Somerset. It seems there are issues behind the scenes that are causing some disruption to the players. Obviously, David Willey came out last week and said he was leaving for reasons that weren't just purely for cricket reasons, should I say. So disappointing we're losing some good players, but changes will take place as always at most cricket clubs. Hopefully it won't disrupt the performances too much. But yeah, so at the moment the 5th in the group of Yorkshire. They've still got a game in hand on the teams in 3rd and 4th, which I believe are Northampton and Derbyshire. So hopefully they can get past those and win the game in hand and get back into the top 4 and reach the quarter-finals. Yorkshire haven't got the best of records in the T20 competition, as you probably know, but they'll be hoping to make the quarter-finals. I can't see past Surrey, Lancashire really at the moment. They're the 2 teams. Surrey haven't even lost a game in their section. They've won 9 and won no result, I think, and they seem to just buy in like foreign players like Kyron Pollard and stuff just to try and win this. Lancashire always perform well in performances. It's like they build a team specifically for the T20 tournament. So there you go, and look at the players who've got aren't playing, like Butler and Livingston and Salt at the moment. They've all been playing well. Talking of which, I forgot to mention that England completed a 3-0 whitewash against Netherlands in their one-day series over in Netherlands, so fairly comfortable all around. Owen Morgan was the only real concern. He had a duck in both games, including a goal in the first one. He didn't play in the 3rd game because he was injured, but he could have done with playing to get some form back, so we'll see how he performs over the rest of the summer. Yeah, so that's where we are with the cricket at the moment. Okay, I'm going to move on to football now briefly, talk about FC Halifax Town. Just to confirm first of all that season tickets are now available again. There have been some issues with the online provider. I think they use WorldPay, but it's now up and running again. So if you're looking to get the early bird deal of taking your season ticket for $329, you need to get that done by the 30th of June. Otherwise the price goes up to $349 from that point onwards. In terms of recruitment, staff players, Tom Bradbury has been confirmed he's left now. He's going to Cheltenham, so good luck to Tom at Cheltenham, a good servant to the club, and he deserves his chance to step up to the next level. Also we've got Tyrrell Warren, who's done well for us again. Good luck to Tyrrell at his new club. He's gone to Barrow. He's joined Pete Weld at Barrow, who seems to be making quite a lot of signings at the moment. And in terms of incomings, we've got Sam Smart, who's a winger we've got in from Eastleigh. He joins Jack Hunter, who we got last week from Gateshead, so hopefully these 2 guys will have an impact on the team, and we'll hope to see some more signings coming through in the next few days. I think of the remaining players that were on the books already, we're just waiting on Luke Summerfield now to confirm whether he's staying or not, and hopefully we'll have some news on that by the time next week's podcast comes round. In terms of other football, the EFL fixtures were announced yesterday morning. The big tie of the opening week sees Huddersfield take on Burnley. That's on Sky. It's the first game. I think that's the 29th of July. So just check out the Sky fixtures. They've announced the first weekend's fixtures for both on TV for both the EFL, which starts on the 29th of July, and then you've got the following Friday, Arsenal are away to somebody. I think it might be Crystal Palace on Friday, the 5th of August. So yeah, Sky have announced those games. So that's what we're doing with the football at the moment. Lots of transfer news. A lot still to be done. Sadio Mane has gone to Bayern Munich from Liverpool, so that's a big blow for Liverpool. But they brought Darwin Núñez in, so they'll feel that they've got a suitable replacement there, I guess. But there's lots to go on yet. Lots of things. Rafinha may be going to Arsenal, might be going to Barcelona. He's going to be leaving Leeds. Is Calvin Phillips going to Villa, West Ham, or is he going to Man City, where it seems he wants to go to? But we'll see. There's lots to happen yet. Lukaku's going to Inter Milan by the looks of it. Pogba's going to Juventus. Lewandowski's leaving Bayern Munich and possibly going to Barcelona as well. So plenty to be happening there before this season start all over Europe. Okay. Moving on from football now. Stock Cars tomorrow night sees the British Championship at Odsal. It's £25 admission. They've got over 50 cars booked already, including all the top guys. Rob Speak's making his comeback as a one-off. I think tomorrow evening he'll be there. So if you like Rob Speak, he's going to be racing tomorrow night. Should be a good meeting. Defending champion, I believe, is Ryan Harrison. He's got the checkered roof, so it must be him. Should be a good meeting. Also, I've got the V8's British Championship going on tomorrow night as well, so it should be a good event all round. You can go into the pits for an hour and a half before the meeting. Turnstiles open at 2. You can go in the pits and have a look at the cars and the drivers between 2:30 and 4. The first race is at 5 o'clock. So if you're going tomorrow night, that's what the itinerary is. I hope you enjoy it. Moving away from stock cars onto Speedway now. Quite a bit of Speedway news this week. The main story is probably the fact that Newcastle have closed down in the Championship mid-season due to financial issues, lack of crowds. Basically, the guy who runs it, Rob Grant, has said if he didn't shut it now, he could run it into the ground and totally ruin it forever. So he feels it's now is the time. Well, it's never a right time for closing the track down, but to do it now, it's probably going to be less of an issue than it would be if they left it till the end of the season. They've not been able to attract riders, they've not been getting fans because they've been getting beaten heavily home and away. So it's very sad. They've got a tradition in the sport, and hopefully they'll be back next season. The other issue is Peterborough. It looks like Peterborough may be looking for a new venue after plans came out for changes to the showground, which do not include Speedway. So whether they can find another track somewhere in Peterborough, I'm not sure. Hopefully they can, because we've already only got 6 teams in the top league. And again, Peterborough have been around quite a while now. They've been around since 1970 with the first season when they were in the second division. So over 50 years there, maybe not unbroken, but 50 years within the sport in some form, shape or form. So hopefully they can find another venue, but it's not good. We already had the news a couple of weeks ago about Edinburgh looking for a new venue at the end of this season as well. So it's not great at the moment for Speedway, and hopefully there'll be some positive news for the next few weeks I can bring to you. Elsewhere in Speedway, in the Premiership, Sheffield had a good victory last night at Kings Lynn. They won by 49 points to 41. That was despite losing Craig Cook in the early part of the meeting. Hopefully Cook is alright and get well soon if you aren't feeling too good. And the other match saw a superheat at Peterborough, at Ipswich, who beat Peterborough in a superheat after they'd drawn the match 45 all. So Ipswich are up there. They're on TV on Monday night against Sheffield. Sheffield v Ipswich is the live match on Eurosport on Monday evening, and Sheffield are in 3rd place at the moment, only having ridden 7 meetings. Ipswich are top, they've ridden 9. Sheffield are in a really good position at the moment. It seems to be Sheffield, Bellevue, Ipswich and Wool are pulling away. Peterborough now have some points on the board after having no points for such a long time. They've now got 7. They're a point behind Kingsley on 8, but they've two have been tailed off a little bit at the bottom of the table. So it looks like the other 4 teams are going to be the main protagonists for the playoffs at the end of the season, but there's still plenty of time to go yet. Onto the Speedway GP, and the next round of the Speedway GP takes place this weekend in Gorzów tomorrow evening. Bartosz Zmarzlik will be looking on to build on his 11-point lead he currently has after 4 rounds of the championship. He's on 62 points. He leads Magic Janowski, who's got 51, and Leon Madsen on 50. It's very tight further down the table. Ty Wuffen is in 5th place on 43, and then Lambert's in 6th place on 36, but then you've got Dan Bewley down in 12th place. He's only 4 points behind, he's on 32. And even Anders Thompson's got 29, so it's 7 points between 6th and 13th. It's not very much after 4 rounds, and it could all change again tomorrow night. Normally Gorzów provides plenty of action. It's a good track to race on, so hoping for a good meeting there. So if you're going to watch that, enjoy it. I'll probably go to the stock cars if I feel well enough to go tomorrow. Hopefully I will. So yeah, that's tomorrow's action. Elsewhere, Wimbledon starts on Monday. So Emma Raducanu is playing Alison von Utvank in the first round. We've seen a draw come up on the breaking news on TV. That's her first round game. I can't remember who Serena Williams has got. I did mention her game as well. So I'll sort of watch some of it. Whether Wimbledon will not be as competitive this time because of the fact that there's no ranking points, because of the fact they've banned Russian players and Belarus players, so will remain to be seen. But hopefully it'll be a good tournament. You've got to think that Djokovic will be the favourite for the men's tournament. You never know, but we'll keep you updated on that. I also believe, moving away from tennis, that it's the start of the Tour de France. I think it's next Friday as well, but again I'll confirm that next week if I remember to do so. So I think that's about all for this week. Obviously it's not as long because there's not as much football to talk about really, and we'll keep updated. Also I'll keep my eyes on what's happening over the next week or so. There's no Formula 1 this weekend. Last weekend's race was won by Max Verstappen after a good battle with Carlos Sainz, who just didn't quite have the power to get past him in the Canadian Grand Prix. Apologies for mentioning the same last week, but it was at Azerbaijan Grand Prix. That was a week before. I think my illness made me realise I'd got a bit muddled up there. But yeah, so that's what's going on at the moment, and I'll be back next week. So until then, have a good week, and I'll see you all then. Bye for now.